Hey everyone, it's Raj from 3CB Performance, back at it again with LFR. Dwight Howard's health and fitness continue to be a work in progress as he makes his way back from low back surgery, specifically what's known as a lumbar microdiscectomy. In this video, I'll explain the low back procedure, potential underlying deficits that were addressed during his rehab, and key things to be aware of for his fitness level as we get deeper into the season. Dwight's short 2018-19 tenure with the Wizards was plagued by constant pain and discomfort in his glutes and legs. The root cause was found to be a herniated disc at the L4-L5 section of his lumbar low back spine. Spine consists of bones called vertebrae with discs that sit in between them. Nerves traveling from the brain exit through each section of the spine, delineated by location and number to the periphery. The discs that sit between the vertebrae help absorb shock and take stress off the surrounding structures. Anatomically, think of the disc like a jelly donut that has a harder exterior called the annulus fibrosus with a soft core called the nucleus pulposus. If the exterior, the annulus, cracks, the interior, the pulposus, seeps out. This is known as a herniation. If the herniation is large enough, it can physically impinge onto the nerves and affect their function. That was the case for Dwight. To alleviate that physical impingement, he had an outpatient surgery known as a quote lumbar microdiscectomy. In this procedure, the surgeon makes a small 1 to 1.5 inch incision in the lumbar area and inserts small instruments to remove the herniated tissue and alleviate the impingement. The procedure is considered relatively non-invasive on the sliding scale of low back surgeries, with an average return to play (RTP) of 2.5 to 3 months for elite athletes. In addition to the methodical, incremental mobility, strengthening, and conditioning progression that is part and parcel with low back rehab, it's also really important to address the root causes of the injury, especially for Dwight, who's now had multiple low back problems and microdiscectomies, with his first one in 2012 with Orlando. The potential underlying causes include: we know that Dwight cut significant weight and got significantly leaner. He's on record saying this is the leanest he's ever been while in the league. Dropping pounds gradually and strategically will help him take stress off his lumbar region and body in general. To that point, shedding excess weight has become a LeBron James staple in his off-season regimen as well. Additionally, there's clear evidence showing that limitations in hip internal rotation leads to compensation at the low back, resulting in increased stress on the low back. Dwight may have focused on improving hip joint internal rotation, particularly via hands-on joint mobilization by his physio. Lastly, his rehab staff may have utilized biomechanical analysis to smoke out any movement patterns that were placing excess stress on his low back and then alleviate them via movement repatterning. For example, running with increased lumbar extension or jumping and landing with slight trunk rotation both increase stress on the lumbar area. The overall point of the rehab process was to gradually build up Dwight's fitness and movement foundation while decreasing further injury or re-injury risk, edging him closer and closer to that precipice where he can get back to full on-court team activity without it being a large shift in activity intensity or quantity. Even with the extended rehab process Dwight went through, there's still no way to replicate actual game intensity. To that point, I considered training camp and preseason to be the final rehab phase for Dwight, with him building up game level endurance and stamina while getting his confidence, feel, and rhythm back. We've also seen him wearing a lumbar heating pad to keep his muscles loose. Accordingly, it's no surprise that his lift and overall fitness were issues in the preseason. Additionally, he could also still be dealing with kinesiophobia, aka fear of movement or re-injury, which is one of the last things to subside after an injury, long layoff, and rehab. Regaining that confidence in movement and complete trust in your body can be a stubborn, complex puzzle that often takes time and playing in numerous games. Accordingly, as preseason progressed, Dwight's fitness and comfort level continued to improve. In the early going, look for all of these variables to continue to gradually improve, with the coaching staff also being mindful of his overall minutes and workload. As we get deeper into the season, there will assuredly come a point where Dwight hits a physical and likely mental roadblock because he missed the majority of last season, and frankly, the NBA schedule is no joke, particularly once you have to start traveling and dealing with interrupted sleep schedules, training schedules, and time zone changes. It wouldn't surprise me if part of his early preseason sluggishness could be attributed to those factors coming into play during the China trip. One final key for Dwight's health and fitness moving forward will be his teammate and center counterpart, JaVale McGee. This two-center rotation will help distribute the load between each player and keep both fresh, which isn't only crucial for Dwight, but also for JaVale, who tends to get really fatigued during longer spells of play, resulting in really poor decision-making. As fans, let's try to be patient and cognizant of these physical realities for Dwight and support him when he needs it. I can't emphasize enough just how important a positive mental environment is for players who are working their way back to 100%, especially for Dwight with his convoluted history in LA. The past is the past. Let's all move forward with our eyes on the ultimate goal. That's a wrap for this video. Thanks for watching. My goal is to provide you with in-depth, evidence-based, narrative-free analysis, and you can always find me on IG and Twitter at 3CB Performance, along with my own YouTube channel where I deep dive into player injuries of all shapes and sizes. Make sure to sub to that channel along with subbing to this one and following LFR on all social media. 3CB out.